FoxyLand 2 is, unsurprisingly, the follow-up to FoxyLand, which came to the Vita and consoles at the end of last year. I like FoxyLand, and having played it quite recently, I was impressed how much of an improvement FoxyLand 2 is compared to 1. FoxyLand 2 is a 2D platformer, but there's more of a story this time round. Foxy's kids have been kidnapped by the Wolfie brothers, and you need to travel through 36 levels to rescue them and defeat the bad guys. Okay, it's not a huge amount of story, and it's not particularly original, but it's serviceable, and for a short game like this, I don't think much more is needed. The 36 levels are split into 3 lands: Woodland, Desert, and Mushroom Land. The aim of each level is pretty straightforward, just get to the end, but that's not as easy as it sounds. There are enemies, traps, spikes, and chasms to avoid, and the game is actually pretty hard. Most levels can be completed in under a minute if you know what you're doing, but I ended up dying many times in the process of learning the levels. There are 3 big coins to collect in each level, and there was normally at least 1 coin that was hidden really well. Collecting them gives extra lives, although the life system was a bit pointless, because even when you lose all your lives, you can continue and you don't lose any progress. There are checkpoints in levels, so if you do lose all your lives and have to continue, then you start back at the beginning of the level. But given how short the levels are, that didn't really make much difference. There probably should have been more of a penalty to the life system, or just get rid of it completely and have unlimited tries from the start of the level. Given the difficulty, I did get frustrated with a few levels, especially the boss levels where 1 hit means you start right back at the beginning. This was really annoying when I was 1 hit away from beating them and I died, and had to go back again to the start. Death felt unfair at times and unavoidable. For example, in the 3rd land when mushrooms are used like springs, but some of them were actually enemies, and there was no way to know which were enemies until you got near them and they killed you. Given the lack of consequence to dying, it didn't make a huge difference, but it did cause a bit of frustration when deaths felt unavoidable. Like with a lot of Ratalaika games, the trophies were a bit rubbish. This is a game that could have had the platinum locked behind finding all the big coins, but the platinum popped really early. I know some people like this, but I would rather have a tougher platinum that gives me an incentive to 100% the game. Hopefully this will be fixed with the physical release. I realise I've moaned quite a bit, but I just wanted to point out the imperfections of this game. Other than the above, it's actually a really solid 2D platformer. The levels were well designed, it offered a good level of challenge, and I loved the pixel graphics. Given how much I enjoyed it, it was a shame it ended so quickly. I would have loved for it to have even more levels. This is a fun platformer. It's short, but it's also cheap, entertaining, and challenging. So guys, have you played FoxyLand 2? And what did you think of it? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.